Good afternoon. Welcome, Akwaaba to one and all. Hope everyone is well. My name, if you don't know me, is Mark. Thanks everyone joining in. Usual suspects, D-Man. Congratulations, D-Man. I saw your amazing run this morning. Just smashed it at the park, inspiring myself to try and get my trainers out. Well done for that. Hello to B. Queen P, I'm not sure if you're in yet, but no. Hope everyone is doing well. Today's Remembrance Sunday, so we take a nod and give thanks to those who've given their lives and that we might be here today. I put some garage on to begin with. I was looking for some sort of celebration music. I don't know if that was it, but it looks like Trump may well be going. I say looks like it because he's still there and he will fight before he gives up his throne. But look, there's a lot happening in the world. There's a bit of anxiety as well. I'm hearing people midweek. I had a bit of anxiety myself. So I'm going to start off with a nice breathing exercise. It's called Nadi Shodhana before we go to the floor for some floor stretches, and then we go into a nice flow. So yeah. Afternoon to Steph. I call Steph as well on the Insta, giving thanks and remembrance. So yeah. Remembrance Sunday. Let's all make sure we take a moment during our day today if we haven't already. But let's get started. Moving on to the mats. Have your water handy and your towel. We're going to start in a seated position. So feel free to come into cross-legged or come on your knees or sit in a block, whichever suits. Like I said, we're going to start with it's a breathing exercise known as Nadi Shodhana. The Nadis in Sanskrit is in essence your channels. Shodhana is, in effect, what we're doing is clearing out the channels. So yeah, once you're nice and comfortable, lift up let's go with the right hand. So you're using your thumb, and then take your two peace fingers. So just hover your thumb over your right nostril and hover your two peace fingers over your left nostril. Just hold it there for a second. And then using your thumb, just collapse and press into your right nostril. And it's just like a gentle breathing exercise. We're going to inhale for the left nostril. Once you get to the top, close your left nostril and then exhale through your right nostril. Once you come to the end, close your right nostril and inhale through the left. It's just a nice way to bring balance, and it's a really good one, like I said, for just bringing calmness and managing that anxiety that some of us might have been feeling. So let's start on the right side. So close the right nostril, and let's all together inhale through the left. Nice long inhale, hold it at the top, close the left nostril, release the right nostril, and breathe out through the right. Okay, inhale through the right. Close the right nostril, open up the left, breathe out through the left nostril. And again, inhale through the left, close the left nostril, release the right, and exhale through the right nostril. Keep going at your own pace. Inhale through the right, close the right nostril, open up the left, and exhale through the left nostril. And again, inhale for the left, close the left, exhale for the right. Keep going, inhale for the right, close, open the left, exhale for the left nostril. Just take 3 more at your own pace. Release the air out and exhale. Inhale for the left. Close the nostril. Exhale through the right. Last round. Deep breath in. Close the right. Release your hand down. Let's take a deep inhale in through the nose. Really expand the lungs. And relax. This will come to And kneeling position is coming down to child's pose. Take a few stretches on the mat before we start. So knees apart and feet together. Just walk your hands forward and come down to the mat. Again, if your head doesn't reach, feel free to use a block. Just relax and soften through the shoulders, release any grip. If you're gripping in your jaw, just let that go. Shift your hips from right to left. Let's all start to just walk the hands over to the left-hand side. And then when you're there, just place your right hand on top of your left hand and just come into a stretch on the right side of the body. Just try and maintain that breath that we started with. So just inhaling through the nose and exhale through the nose. Coming into our Ujjayi breath. Remember, the breath is what's going to help us flow through the practice. Start to walk the hands back towards center. And now over to the right side. This time we're placing the left hand on top of the right. You're just feeling a stretch down the left side of your body. Forcing it. Just walk the hands back towards center. Just come up onto the knees. Keep your torso, your body low. Just come into puppy pose. So just walk your hands forward. Your hips are going high. Once your hips are stacked above your knees, just open up through the shoulders by maybe bringing your forehead to the mat, or if you can, maybe your chin. You're not forcing this one, but you're just softening down and bringing a stretch in between your shoulder blades. And let's start to come up onto your knees. We're going to come up onto your knees, lift up your torso. We're going to bring that stretch again to the left side of the body. So on the inhale, lengthen up through your right arm, really try and touch the sky. And then just start to bend over to the left. So maybe take your left hand down, bend over towards the left side of the room. Just enjoy that stretch. It starts to bring movement into that right arm. If you bring it down, so again, it's that semicircle move. So you're coming down towards the front, all the way towards the right, and you're switching sides. The right hand goes down, the left arm goes up. And you bring the stretch to the left side of the body this time. Let that head hang loose, let it be heavy. Take the opposite side. So come back, so that left arm goes front diagonal, all the way to the front, and over to the left side. Come up and over. Take that stretch again on the right side of the body. Let's take one more on the other side. So really come into that spine. Just come over to the right side, lifting that left arm up. Just bringing that nice stretch into the intercostal muscles on the left side. The muscles in between our ribs. And on an inhale, just lift both arms up towards the sky. Fan out through the fingers. And then release the hands down. Come into an interlace behind your back. So interlace your fingers behind your back. Maybe right thumb goes over left. Lengthen out through your arms. So lift your chest, shine your chest up to the sky. Draw your lower belly. Spacing between your chest and relax. Take your arms back up towards the ceiling. This time, interlace the hands behind the crown of the head. So just maybe at the base of the skull. Again, shine your chest up towards the sun. Get ready for the day. And then start to curl in. Bring your elbows together. Take your gaze down. Tuck your chin towards your chest. Try and stay nice and long in your upper body. So bring in a nice stretch into the neck here. Try and stay long in the neck. You're not forcing your head here. Just use the resistance of the head against the hands just to feel that stretch in the back of the neck. And on the inhale, again, open up the elbows, shine your chest up. And on the exhale, this will come into our tabletop. So hands tucked underneath the shoulders, curl your toes under, and on the next breath, we're going to push straight up into our downward facing dog. From here, let's just start to walk out through the legs. Walk out through the legs, just bringing some movement and engagement to your calves. Again, just energetically feel as if you're drawing your heels towards the mat. It may not reach. Once you're comfortable, let's all come into stillness. So our tailbone is pointing up towards the sky. You're in that nice inverted V. Let's all take a deep inhale in and exhale out. And again, inhale in. On the exhale, see if you've got any more room to grow a bit taller in your tailbone. And on the next inhale, let's come up onto the toes. And then just walk forwards. Let's all meet at the front of the mat. Stay nice and heavy. Just letting gravity just float the belly down, float the body down, I should say. Just sway from one side to the next, maybe taking opposite hands to opposite elbows. Maybe take a slight bend in the knees. You start to come into your hamstrings here. Let's go for the interlace again. Let's interlace the hands above the lower back. Bend into the knees as you come into a halfway lift, so taking the gaze towards the front of the mat. And on exhale, start to bend forward. And as you do, lift your hands up off the lower back. Just as far as your body will allow. Just relax into the pose again, just let gravity take control here. Open up the shoulders. On the next inhale, start to bring the hands back towards the lower back and then letting them flop down. Let the upper body stay nice and heavy, and the head as you start to roll up one vertebra at a time. Draw in the lower belly. Stay nice and heavy. Let the arms be heavy. Let the head be heavy. Let the shoulders come up to the ears as you roll back, and then bring your head up last. Let's bring the feet together. Just stand with the palms facing forward into Tadasana. On the next inhale, let's start to lift those arms up towards the sky. And then bring your hands into prayer to the center of the chest. We'll go for a few sun salutations to bring some movement to the body. So on the inhale, take your prayer up. On the exhale, bend from the hips, just come all the way down. Inhale to halfway lift, roll the shoulders back. On the exhale, place your hands down at the front of the mat, step the left foot back and the right foot as we come into our first high plank. Drop forwards and back on the toes. And on the next drop forwards, for the first one, let's all drop the knees, uncurl the toes, bend into the elbows as we come all the way down. On the inhale, we're going to push our hands into the mat as we come up into our upward facing dog, taking our knees up off the mat. And on the exhale, curl the toes under as we will come back to our down facing dog. Take a deep inhale in and exhale out. On the inhale, come high on the toes, jump or step forward towards the front of the mat. On the inhale, let's take a halfway lift. Roll the shoulders back. On exhale, let's come down. Inhale, let's go nice and tall. Taking hands towards the ceiling. On exhale, bring the prayer all the way through the chest, just come all the way down, back towards the mat. On the inhale, let's all come to a halfway lift. Roll the shoulders back, draw on your belly, place your hands down, step the left foot back, step the right foot back, as we all again meet in high plank. Let's roll forwards into the toes. Feel free to drop the knees, start to bend into the elbows, to that right angle. Just come to low plank. Let's push up to our upward facing dog. Maybe keep a slight bend in the elbows, and then curl the toes under as we come into our down facing dog. Just soften through the shoulders. Let's take another inhale and exhale out. On your next inhale, high on the toes, and then jump or step forwards towards the front of the mat. Hands to the shins as we come up into our halfway lift. Exhale as we come down. Inhale to go up. Really breathe beyond the fingers, nice and tall in the torso. Exhale, bring the prayer through the chest as we come all the way down. Really from the hips. Let's take our halfway lift. Lengthen through the arms. Place the hands down. Step the left foot back and the right foot back as we come into our high plank. Sort of falls under the toes. Bend into the elbows as we come to a low plank. Let's push up into our upward facing dog. And on the exhale, let's all meet again in down facing dog. On the inhale, let's come high on the toes. Again, jump or step forwards towards the front of the mat. On the inhale, let's come to our halfway lift. On the exhale, we're coming down. On the inhale, let's come all the way up again. Hands towards the sky. And on the exhale, bring our hands to prayer, to the center of the chest. Inhale to lengthen and go up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bend from the hips as you come into Uttanasana, our forward fold. Let's take a halfway lift here. And on the exhale, hands down. Let's all meet in high plank. Let's forwards and back on the toes. On your next walk forwards, let's drop down to the right forearm. Let's drop down to the left forearm. Let's hold it here. Let's move in forearm plank. If you can, just rock forwards and back on the toes. For 3, for 2, for 1. Let's all try to push up into our high plank. Forwards and back onto the toes. Feel free to drop the knees or bend into the elbows as we come to a low plank. Push up into our upward facing dog. Curl the toes under as we will come into our downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale in and exhale out. On your next inhale, as we do high onto the toes, we're going to start to put the feet forwards. Let's all meet in our forward fold. On the inhale, come up to a halfway lift. Exhale, bring the hands down. Let's step the left foot back as you'll meet in low lunge. So drop that left knee, uncurl your left toes. Once you're nice and stable, give that bend in the right knee. Let's come up. So come to a low lunge, a runner's lunge. Feel free to move the right knee a bit further forward. As you come into a nice stretch through the left hip flexor. Take one more inhale. And on exhale, let's take our hands to the front of the mat. Curl left toes under. Step that right foot all the way back to meet the left. Let's rock forwards onto the toes. Bend into the elbows, come to a low plank. Let's all push up into our upward facing dog. Curl the toes under as we all meet in our downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale in and exhale out. On the next inhale, let's lift that right leg just so it's parallel with the floor. Then let's go higher, curl the toes in towards the face. And on the exhale, taking that knee all the way through the body and placing that left sole of the foot at the front of the mat. Let's just drop the right knee, uncurl the right toes. So nice and grounded. Let's come up with the arms. Stay nice and tall for your torso. Maybe bend that left knee a bit more and take the stretch this time towards the right hip flexor. Take a deep inhale in and exhale. Place the hands at the front of the mat. Curl your right toes under. Let's jump and all meet at the front of the mat in our forward fold. On the inhale, let's come to a halfway lift. Exhale just to release down towards the mat. On the inhale, let's come all the way up towards the sky. Really fan out through the fingers. And on exhale, take our prayer to our chest. On the inhale, let's go long. Really try and touch the ceiling. On the exhale, bend from the hips as we're taking the body all the way down towards the mat. This will come up to our halfway lift. Roll back the shoulders. On the exhale, place the hands at the front of the mat. This time, lift that right leg back. Take your right foot all the way back towards the back of the mat. Drop your right knee. Uncurl your right toes. Once you feel nice and grounded, start to lift the torso up. lift the arms up as you come into runner's lunge on the right side. Take one more inhale. Might be a slight back bend there for you to shine your chest towards the sky. Let's cartwheel the hands forward. Curl your right toes under. And jump that left foot back as we all meet in our high plank. So forwards and back on the toes. On your next walk forwards, let's bend into the elbows as we come down to a low plank. Let's come up into our upward facing dog. Curl the toes under as we all meet in down facing dog. Let's take one longer inhale through the nose and exhale it all out. On your next breath, this time lifting that right leg so it's parallel to the floor. Curl your toes in towards your face. And on your exhale, we'll draw that knee all the way through to the knee to nose. And place the right sole of the foot down at the front of the mat. Drop your left knee, uncurl your left toes. Let's come to the runner's lunge on the other side. So you're nice and grounded. Start to lift up the torso. See if you've got any more room to really come into that left hip flexor. So really nice posture this for runners or cyclists. Just to release, find a bit more space in our hips. Let's inhale for one more to shine our chest up towards the sky. Let's place the hands at the front of the mat. Curl your left toes under. Take your, I think we're jumping. I think that's right. And we'll meet at the front of the mat. I might have got that wrong. Let's come to a halfway lift, hands to the shins as we roll the shoulders back. Exhale to release down. Let's inhale, take the hands all up towards the ceiling. Exhale to bring our prayer to our chest. We're going to do that on each side one more time. Just pick up the pace a little bit. So if you can't keep up or if you want to go at your own pace, please feel free to do so. On the inhale, let's go high with the hands. And exhale, bend from the hips as we come all the way down. Inhale to come into a halfway lift, roll the shoulders back. Place the hands down. On the inhale, jump that left foot all the way back. Drop your left knee, uncurl your left toes. Let's take the torso up, so up off the right thigh. Shine up the chest for one breath. And on the exhale, place the hands down, curl your left toes under, and step that right foot all the way back so you all meet in high plank. Spin into the elbows from low plank. Push up as we come up for our upward facing dog. Curl the toes under as we all meet in down facing dog. Lift that right leg so it's parallel with the mat. Take that right knee all the way through. Place the left knee all the way through. Place the left sole down onto the mat. Drop your right knee and curl your right toes and let's come up. So runner's lunge on the other side. Take a deep inhale in. Again, maybe take the back bend if it's there for you. Place your hands at the front of the mat. Curl your right toes under. Let's jump and all meet at the front of the mat. Let's take a halfway lift. Roll the shoulders back, lengthen out through the arms. And exhale as we come down into our forward fold. Inhale, bend into the knees. Let's come nice and tall in the body. Really feels someone's trying to lift you up from your arms. Nice and tall for your torso. Exhale, let's take our hands to prayer and send to the chest. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to bend. Inhale to come to a halfway lift. Exhale, place the hands on the front of the mat. Take that right foot all the way back. Drop that right knee, uncurl your right toes. Start to lift your torso up. On the inhale for one breath. And on the exhale, place your hands down, curl your right toes under. So step that left foot back. Draw the right as you all meet in high plank. On the next foot forwards, let's start to bend into the elbows. Inhale as we come up to our upward facing dog. Let's curl the toes under as we all meet in our downward facing dog. On the next inhale, lifting that right leg so it's parallel with the floor. And on the exhale, drawing that right knee all the way through. Place the right sole of the foot down. Drop that left knee on the left toes. On the inhale, let's come up high in the torso. Let's inhale for one more. There might be a slight back bend there for you. And on the exhale, place the hands at the front of the mat. Curl the left toes under. Let's jump or step as we all meet at the front of the mat in our forward fold. Inhale to come up to a halfway lift. Exhale as we come down. Inhale to take the hands up towards the ceiling. Exhale as we go hands into throw to the center of the chest. Inhale as you go nice and long toward the body, arms towards the ceiling. Exhale, bend from the hips as you come down to a Uttanasana, forward fold. So inhale, take a halfway lift. Exhale, take the hands down towards the floor. Let's step the left foot back, step the right foot back as we all meet in high plank. On the inhale, let's rock forwards onto the toes. Bend into the elbows as we come down to a low plank. Inhale, so we come up to a upward facing dog. Really roll the shoulders back, open up through the chest, curl your toes under as you all meet in downward facing dog. On your next breath, let's lift that right leg up so it's parallel with the floor. Let's draw the knee forward as we go knee to nose. Hold it there for 3, for 2, for 1. Step that right foot all the way through. This time we're high on the back toes. Our left knee is off the mat. Keep that bend in that right knee as close to 90 degrees as you can. Left leg stay straight, start to move the torso up. Take your arms up towards the ceiling as we all meet in crescent lunge. Push into the back heel to lengthen out through the back leg. On the inhale, see if there's a slight back bend there for you. And on exhale, let's all come down. Bring the hands down towards the front of the mat. Let's drum that right foot back to meet the left foot as we come to our high plank. On the next breath, let's bend into the elbows, just come down to a low plank. Inhale to come up to upward facing dog. Let's curl the toes under as you all meet in downward facing dog. Nice one. On the next breath, let's go to the left side. So lift that left leg up so it's parallel to the mat. Let's start to draw that knee in as we go knee to nose. And we hold it there for 3, for 2, for 1. And then step that left foot through so it sits at the front of the mat. We're high on the back toes. Once you feel nice and grounded, maintain that bend in that left knee. Start to lift the torso up, off that left thigh. Drawing your lower belly, really engage your transverse abdominis. Start to lift the arms up towards the ceiling. Again, you're high on the toes and you're pushing into the back of the heel energetically, which will just lengthen out through that right leg. Let's go there. Let's breathe. One more breath. Inhale as we start to shine our chest up towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, bring our hands back towards the front of the mat. Step that left foot all the way back to meet the right foot as we meet in high plank. Just rock forwards and back on the toes. On your next rock forwards, let's bend into the elbows as we come down to a low plank. We're going to push up to upward facing dog. And on your next breath, let's curl the toes under as we meet in downward facing dog. At any point, please do listen to your body and feel free to take a child's pose or sip of water at any point that suits you. Let's inhale again for one more. And as you exhale out, start to energetically draw your heels a bit further down towards the mat. On your next breath, let's lift that right leg so it's parallel to the mat. And on the exhale, we're going knee to nose again. Straight the right knee all the way through for 3, for 2, for 1. Step that right foot down at the front of the mat. We'll come into crescent lunge again. So you're high on the left toes. Once you're nice and grounded, start to lift
the torso up off the right thigh. Getting nice and tall through the torso. Start to lift your arms up towards the ceiling. Inhale to lengthen up. And on the exhale, just through the torso and through the arms. So taking that right arm back and that left arm forward. Let's take our gaze over towards the right side of the room. Just test your balance here. Twisting from the lower belly. And on the inhale, let's come back towards center, taking the arms up towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, cartwheel the hands down. Step that right foot all the way back. As you again come into a high plank. Then rock forwards onto the toes. Let's bend into the elbows as we come down to a low plank. Let's push through as we come into an upward facing dog. Roll the shoulders back. Curl the toes under. As we all meet in downward facing dog. Breathe here for one more. Inhale. And exhale. Take the other side. So next inhale, lifting up through the left leg. Again, just be mindful, you don't have to go so high, just keep parallel with the mat. Curl your toes in towards your face. And on the exhale, we're drawing the knee all the way through. We're going knee to nose. I'm going to step that left foot so it sits at the front of the mat. We're high on the right toes this time. Once you feel nice and grounded, supported by the mat, start to lift that torso up off the left thigh. Energetically, just feel as if you're pushing into your heel, your right heel, just to create a bit more length in your right leg. Stay nice and tall through your torso. Really try and engage through your abdomen here. Take your arms up towards the ceiling as we all meet in crescent lunge. On the next inhale, really lengthen up through your body. And on the exhale, I'm taking a lunge twist towards the left side. So this time it's right arm forward and left arm back. Take a deep inhale in and exhale out. On your next inhale, let's take the arms back towards center. Take the arms either side of the ears. And on the exhale, release the hands back towards the front of the mat. And set that left foot all the way back to meet the right foot as we all come together in our high plank. On your next inhale, let's walk forwards onto the toes. Feel free again to bend in the knees, or otherwise come straight down to a low plank. Taking our elbows to right angles, let's push up into our upward facing dog. Curl the toes under as we all meet in our downward facing dog. Again, relax with the shoulders, soften the jaw. Let's take your gaze towards the back of the mat here. Breathe for 2 more breaths. One more. Just jump or step towards the front of the mat. So we meet forward fold at the front. On the inhale, let's come up to a halfway lift. Exhale to release. Inhale to come all the way up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bend from the hips as we come all the way down. Back to forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Roll the shoulders back. Place the hands down. Step the left foot back. Step the right foot back. As we all meet in high plank. Let's rock forwards onto the toes. Get feel free to bend and take the knees to the ground. Otherwise, bend into the elbows for a low plank. Let's push up into our upward facing dog. Curl the toes under as we all meet in downward facing dog. Well done. Almost there with this sequence. We're going to again lift that right leg up. So just so it sits parallel with the mat. And on your next breath, once again, start to draw the knee all the way through. Don't worry if you've got to stagger that right foot forward. But let's all meet by placing that right foot at the front of the mat as we again come up into our crescent lunge. So let's start to lift the torso up off that right thigh. You're pushing into that left heel energetically to create length in that left leg. Take your arms up towards the ceiling. On the inhale, let's lengthen up. And on the exhale, Let's twist again. So right arm back, left arm forwards. Let's take one more breath. Inhale and exhale. On your next breath, let's come back towards center. Take your arms nice and high. There might be a slight back bend here for you. And on your next breath, going to open up into warrior two. So let's drop that left heel towards the mat this time. So your left sole of the foot is flat. Keep that bend into that right knee. Take your right arm forward and your left arm back. Your left foot's pointed out towards 10 o'clock. Take a breath in and release. Just soften into the pose. Just find your drishti point here, your focal point. Don't forget to re-engage through your core. On your next inhale, let's flip that right palm over. Start to seesaw the right arm up and left arm back. Maybe take your left hand towards your left hip. Maintain your warrior two legs and maintain that bend in your right knee. And on your next breath, let's take the right elbow so it sits inside of that right knee. So we come into side angle lunge. Just have to open up the body towards the left side of the room. So use the resistance of the right elbow against the inside of the right thigh just to see how much more you can create openness. So a really nice stretch here for your right hip flexor. And on the next breath, let's all meet again in warrior two. Take one more breath in and exhale just to soften. This time we take it inside to the hands, behind the back, and come into humble warrior. So lengthen up through your arms. You can shine your chest up towards the sky. Say hello to your day. And on the exhale, just start to bring your torso forward so it sits inside of your right thigh. Just go to your edge here. Don't feel as if you've got to come all the way down. You can just relax through your neck. If it's there for you, just start to lift your hands up off your lower back. Again, just go towards your edge. There's no competition here, especially for yourself. Here for one more breath. On your next breath in, really focus on engaging through the core. If you're using your core, just bring your body back up on the inhale. And on the exhale, let's come back into warrior two arms. Let's flip that right palm over again. So come back into a reverse warrior for one breath. And on the exhale, let's cut all the hands down towards the front of the mat. Come high on the left toe, step the right foot back to meet the left. As we will meet in high plank. On the next rock forwards, we're going to bend into the elbows as we come down to a low plank. Let's push through the toes as we come up into our upward facing dog. Again, soften through the shoulders. And on the exhale, curl the toes under as we will meet in our downward facing dog. It's good going, guys. Pretty knackered from this. Let's take a deep inhale in and exhale out. So you exhale out, again, just soften through your heels, energetically just draw them a bit closer towards the mat. We're holding here for a couple more breaths. Again, soften through the shoulders, maybe roll your shoulders away. Just create a bit more length in your back. On your next inhale in, then let's start to lift that left leg up towards parallel. Again, you're curling your toes in towards your face. You might be high on the right toes. And then start to bring your left knee all the way through. We're aiming to place that left sole of the foot at the front of the mat as we will meet again in crescent lunge. So you're high on your back toes, your right toes, your right heels off the mat. If you're nice and grounded, start to lift up through the torso. And nice and tall through your upper body. Energetically feel so you're pushing your heel back to create length in your right leg. And then start to bring your arms up towards the ceiling. Just feel your breath moving through your body here. As you inhale in Maybe take your breath to a place where you feel a bit tight. Meets my right hip. And I'll exhale out. Just release that tension. Release that tightness. On the next inhale in, I'm going to lengthen up. And on the exhale, start to twist the body over towards the left side. So right arm goes forward, left arm goes back. Let's take another breath in. And release. On your next breath in, let's come back towards center. The arms go nice and high. And on the exhale, we're going to open up into warrior two. So we're going to drop that right heel towards the mat. Your right foot's pointing out towards 2 o'clock. Your right arm goes back, your left arm goes forward. So try and maintain that bend in that left knee. Just pick your drishti point, your focal point. Just notice what your heart is doing here. Just use your breath if you're speeding fast, just to bring a bit of calmness to your heart. On your next breath, let's flip that left palm over. Let's start to seesaw them back as we come to reverse warrior. This time I'm going to place my right hand on my right hip. If it's good for you, feel free to do the same. Take your gaze up towards your left hand. Maybe take your gaze down towards the mat. So you've got any more room to create a bit more of a stretch down the left side of your body. And on your next breath, let's come into side angle lunge. So this time the left elbow sits inside of the left thigh. I'm going to open up the body towards the right side of the room. So again, you're using the resistance of the left elbow against the inside of the left thigh. Just try and find a bit more openness in your body. Again, feel free to take your gaze up towards your hand. Take the gaze down towards the mat. Release through the neck. On your next breath, let's all come back up into warrior two. Whoops, left arm goes forward, right arm goes back. This time take the interlace, behind our back again. Maybe take the feminine side so the left thumb sits on top of the right thumb. And find the interlace from there. On the inhale, lengthen out through the arms. You should start to shine your chest up towards the sky. And on the exhale, just start to bend from the hip. And bring the torso forward again. You just go into your edge. Gaze come all the way down, but you aim to sit your chest on the inside of your left thigh. If it's there for you to see if you can lift your hands in the interlace up off the lower back. Just create some opening in the shoulders. Just come up and over. On your next breath, again, engage through your core. As you come back up, let's take the hands back into warrior two. Let's flip that left palm over. Let's take a reverse warrior for one more. And on the exhale, cartwheel the hands down towards the front of the mat. Come high on the right toes and jump that left foot to meet the right foot at the back of the mat as we will come into our high plank. Let's forwards into the toes. Let's all bend. Place the knees down onto the mat. Uncurl the toes. Let's come down to a low plank from here. Let's push up into our upward facing dog. And then curl the toes under as we meet our downward facing dog. Well done. So inhale to come up high to the toes. And then jump or step forwards towards the front of the mat. Start to bring the bum down towards the heels. And then sit down on the mat. Lengthen out your legs, invite yourselves. Just shake out the legs here. If you've got a towel handy, feel free to use a towel here. Otherwise, we are going to start by taking our right sole of the foot and then just sitting it on the inside of our left thigh. So imagine this is tree pose on the mat. So the right side of the foot is inside of the left thigh. On an inhale, let's lengthen up through the arms, through the upper body. And on the exhale, just start to bend from the hips. Try not to curl in from the upper body, just bend from the hips, taking your chest towards your shin here. So you can either place your hands either side of your shin or either side of your knee. Again, just go towards your edge here. If you're really tight, just enjoy the just giving into gravity here. If it's there for you and you want to try and go for the feet, don't compromise by just dropping the body. Feel free to use a towel, just wrap it around the outside of the foot. And again, just draw your chest towards your shin. And if it's there for you, feel free to grab the underside of the soles. We're here for another 3 breaths. So just go towards your edge and go to wherever feels right for your body. So you're curling your toes, your left toes in towards your face. Just finding a nice stretch for your left hamstring here. For 2 breaths. 1 more breath. Inhale, and on the exhale, see if you can release any further forward. Slowly start to release out the post. Walk your hands back from wherever your hands are. So I'm going to bring that right knee up. I'm going to take that right foot up and over the left thigh. You can either keep the left foot straight or you can curl that left foot behind your body. We're going to come into a twist. So on the inhale, first place that right hand behind the body. So the right hand, place the right hand behind the body. On the inhale, go nice and tall with your left arm. Use the crook or the bend of the left elbow to wrap around the right knee. So inhale to lengthen up from here. And on the exhale, start to twist from your lower body, from your belly, over towards the right side of the room. As you're twisting, just notice, see if your right bum cheek has lifted itself off the mat. If it has, just try and bring it down towards the mat. You get more of a stretch in doing so. So inhale to lengthen, keep your chin over your chest, and exhale to twist. Inhale to lengthen, and exhale to twist. Let's go for 1 more. Inhale to lengthen up through the body. Again, just keep your chin over your chest so you're twisting through your body as opposed to your neck. And then release your hands down. Again, lengthen out through both legs. Give them a shake. And take that on the other side. So this time your right leg is staying straight. You're bending your left knee in. Your left sole of the foot is up against the right thigh, the inside of the right thigh. You might find you've got a bit more space on one side than the other. Definitely got less flexibility on this side. So on the inhale, lengthen up. And on the exhale, let's just start by just folding the body forward, placing your hands either side of the knee, or either side of the thigh. Okay, just go towards your edge here. You're curling your right toes in towards your face. And then use a towel here. So using a towel, if it's there for you, see if you can just wrap it around the underside of your right sole. On the inhale, you can lengthen up, keeping that back as straight as you can. And on the exhale, just give it a slight pull, just to aid you bring your chest a bit further forward. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to pull in a bit further. If you're not using a towel, if you're keeping your hands on the mat, just energetically feel as if you're drawing your chest a bit closer. Feel free to grab either side of the shin. Come into the pose that way. On the inhale, let's start to walk the hands back and go up tall with the torso again. Let's bend that left knee up this time. And on this side is the left foot just coming up and over the right thigh. Again, you can keep your right leg straight If it's there for you, you can bend into that right knee, taking that right foot so it sits on the outside of our left bum cheek. Again, try and keep your left bum just on the mat. This time we're lengthening up through that right hand. Our left hand is behind our body, using that bend of the right elbow just to hug in to that left knee. And using that resistance, inhale to lengthen up, exhale to come into the twist on the left side. So again, you're not just twisting through the head, through the neck here. Just keep your chin over your chest. Just go towards your edge. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist. If your bum is on the mat here, you should be able to feel a nice stretch in your left quad. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist. Let's go for one more. Inhale to lengthen. Use that resistance, see if you've got any more of a twist. And then release. Release the hands out. And lengthen out this time with both legs. Shake them out on the mats. This time we're going to go into forward bend with both legs in front of us. So inhale to lengthen up. And exhale. Just bend from the hips. You're just going towards your edge without compromising the neck. Just bending the neck. So you might just lean forward by 10 degrees or 20 degrees. The great thing about these classes is that there's no competition. Your hands are either side of your shins. Maybe just use the grip on your shins to lengthen up and see if you can create any more space to bend forward, just taking your chest again towards your shins. Again, feel free to use your towel on the underside of your soles of your feet. Inhale to lengthen. Just use that resistance to pull your chest a bit further forward. It's a lovely stretch, this one, for your hamstrings. So if you're tight in the hamstrings, it's one you can do each morning or before after a run or a cycle. You have another 4 breaths. So really enjoy the stretch we're giving ourselves here. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to come a bit further down. Inhale to lengthen. Really curl your toes in towards your face. For your last one, let's all try and engage for our quads. So turn our quads on by drawing them up, and that'll create a bit more space in the hamstrings to come a bit further forward. And then relax. Start to walk the hands back. Come up through the torso. And come down onto our backs. Bend into your knees. Keep your feet hip distance apart as we get ready for bridge pose. So bring your back towards the mat. Surrender into the mat, into the floor here. Feel supported. Just rest the back of the head down. Just massage out through the base of the skull. So just shake your head out left to right. And see if you can just scrape the back of your heels. You don't want your heels to be any closer than that as we get ready for bridge pose. So again, feel nice and grounded through the soles of the feet. And on the inhale, you're going to push your feet into the mat and start to lift up from the lower back, the upper back. So lower back, middle back, the upper back. Feel as if someone's pulling you up from your hips. So that's where the engagement's coming from. Turn on your glutes, support your lower back. Really push into the mat with your feet here. Here for another 3, 2, 1. And slowly start to release down to the mat. Upper back, middle back, lower back. Let's take the feet together and knees apart. Baddha Konasana legs. Let's go for one more. So you can place your feet just apart. Pointing your knees up towards the ceiling. See if you can just scrape the back of your heels. Coming up for one more bridge. Maybe take your toes up off the mat. You're pushing the soles of your feet into the mat and slowly start to lift up from lower back, middle back, upper back. So just drawing your hips up towards the ceiling. Engage for your glutes. Maybe take an interlace of the hands underneath your body, and we're here for another 3, another 2, Another one. Slowly start to release. Upper back, middle back, lower back. Let's take feet together and knees apart. So come back into Baddha Konasana knees, Baddha Konasana legs. Place your right hand onto your belly and maybe your left hand to your heart. Your heart rate should start to slow down from the earlier flow. So I'm going to come into a quick round of abs here as we finish off. So you start to draw your knees together. Maybe lift the soles of your feet up. Take your hands around your knees. Just start to massage out through the lower back. So let's maybe go clockwise. Massage the lower back and then anti-clockwise. And then start to rock and roll up and down. And the inhale, we're coming up. We're floating the feet up off the mat, so we're not touching the mat. And exhale, we're rolling back. Massage out through the length of the spine. Exhale to come back. Inhale to rock up. Exhale to come back. On the next rock up, let's all meet in boat pose. So you're high on your bum. Draw back the shoulders. Maybe take a grab of each hamstring as you take your shins so they're parallel with the floor. Maybe stay here, or if you just want to level up one more, maybe release from the underside of the hamstrings. Take your hands either side of your shins. Really bring some awareness to your core here. So it might be shaking, but you're nice and strong for your core. Inhale to draw your shoulders back, and on the exhale, let's go to low boat. So start to bring the torso down and stretch out for your legs. You're hovering off the floor, so legs off the floor. Your shoulders are nice and high. And on the inhale, let's come back up to a high boat. Holding it here for 3, for 2, for 1. And come back down towards low boat. Hold it for 3, for 2, for 1. Let's take one more. Let's come up for one more high boat. 3, 2, 1. Let's grab the underside of our hamstrings. Let's just rock and roll. Again, for the length of the spine here. And let's come find ourselves flat on the mat. So lengthen that through the legs. So I'm going to come into a supine twist to finish. So when you're ready, let's start to bend into that right knee and take the interlace of the hands around the right knee. Let's just bring some movement into that right hip. Just exaggerate as we go clockwise. Just try and find that sweet spot. And then take it anti-clockwise. And then let's come into stillness. Let's take that left hand onto the outside of the right knee. And start to come up and over. So draw that right knee over the body as you come to supine twist. Again, the aim or ambition isn't to get the knee to the floor necessarily. It's just to go towards your edge. So you place that left hand on the outside of the right knee, just to add a bit of resistance, you're not forcing it down. You take your gaze over towards the right side of the room. You can place your right hand towards the right side of the room as well. Might come into a few clicks to your lower back. It's all good. One more breath. Slowly start to bring your right knee back up. Just take one more interlace as you pull your right knee in. And then lengthen out your right leg. And just start to take the other side. So this time we're bending to that left knee. Take the interlace around that knee. And then start to move, find some movement in that left hip. So you first go clockwise. Just look for that sweet spot, that area of tightness. You might want to hold for a couple of breaths. Let's go anti-clockwise. And let's come into stillness. This time taking the right hand up and over the outside of the left knee, and then drawing that left knee over as we come to supine twist on the other side. Use your right hand on the outside of the left knee, take your gaze over towards the left side of the room. And on your next breath, start to lift that left knee in. Just coming for one more, pull in, and lengthen out through the body. I'm going to stay for a minute or so as we come into Shavasana. So release any Ujjayi breath, come back into your natural breath. Just tuck your chin slightly towards the chest. Just create length in your neck, your arms at each side of the body. Just let your body flop out. Just close your eyes. Take one more inhale in. And release all out. Let's come into Shavasana. By movement in your body, shake the head from left to right, moving your hands and feet. Take a deep inhale in and exhale out. Swing the knees into the chest, one more hug in, and let's all come up into a seated position, up on the knees. Before we wrap up, let's just close our eyes and take our hands to our chest. Just give thanks for giving yourself the 60 minutes to rock up and be on a mat today. Thanks for supporting each other virtually through the powers of YouTube. It's also spare thought today, being Remembrance Sunday, and so you just finished the first week of lockdown. Just take a moment this week to maybe check in with someone that you know might be by themselves, or a friend you haven't spoken to for a while. Just say hello. It's tough times for us all. Blink over your eyes. They're all done. Thanks for another session, joining in. And over today again, my bad. But yeah, all done. Thanks for tuning in again today. Session, I think that's number 30 now. So yeah, we're carrying on during lockdown each and every Sunday here at 12:30. It's a 60-minute class, as you know. Blessings to everyone for rocking up. Thanks to B, to Steph, and to D-Man. Monica, she's with you. So thanks to the kids. Queen P, Jay, and anyone I haven't mentioned. It's a blessing to spend an hour with yourselves on a Sunday. Helps me keep my yoga going and keeping the stretch going. But anyway, I'm guessing too much. I will load up a class this week. I've been a bit neglectful of that. There'll be another 15-minute class coming up. It's a pre-record. Otherwise, have a great Sunday. Hit me back with any comments. Thanks a lot, Lydia, for joining in. That's a delight. So yeah, thank you. Have a great Sunday. Take care of yourselves, and we're back next week. Thank you. See, we've got some more UK Garage.